much money as I can earn. Whatever steps forward I want to take, whatever value I want to bring to the marketplace, whoever I can teach, train, develop, and grow, what other revenue streams I can add to my business, I can earn that money. But that's not the part that makes me rich. The part that makes me rich is the ability to change the life of somebody else, to change the game for somebody else, to influence somebody else to do better than they currently do, that they have more in them. That's when you're rich. Yes. I lived in poverty. I got it. I lived in poverty. Yes. Brokenness. Yes. All the doom and gloom from my background. But listen to me. I'm rich. I overcame all of that. Do you know I was separated from my biological mother when I was 2 years old, and I talk to her every single day now? I'm rich. I'm establishing a relationship with her now. I'm rich. Listen to me. As long as you have opportunity, as long as you have your health, as long as you have your freedom, as long as you have the option to pursue happiness, as long as you have that option to make as much money as you can earn, as long as you have the option to do better than you currently are, as long as you have the option to hug your children and to say thank you to your spouse, as long as you have the option, listen to me, you are rich. I am rich. Listen to me. I have a life that money cannot buy. What about you? What makes you rich? What about you? Thank you for listening to me this morning. I'm going to open it up. Thank you so much. This is Shaka Dyson.
Hey, Shaka, it's Joy. I absolutely love what you said, because I say it all the time that some people are so poor that all they have is money. And I think for so many times when we're working hard and we're hustling, it's like, you know what, none of this matters if I don't have peace, if I don't have joy, if I don't have hope. Those are the things that are intangibles. And I'm just on fire every time that you speak. I'm out here getting my exercise on, and you have me all fired up. So thank you, and happy Monday.
That's what I'm talking about, champion. You know, there's so many things that make us all rich. So many things. We're worth so much more than we believe we are. But when you listen to other people, when you listen to other people's values, when you listen to other people's priorities, when you listen to what makes what gives other people self-worth, that means that when you do that, then you take away from yourself. You have to figure out what makes you rich. What value do you bring to the world? What value do you bring to the marketplace? Who do you bring value to? Who's looking for you? Who's looking at you to be an example of success? See, listen to me. I'm a great husband to my wonderful wife on purpose. Why? Because I have daughters who are watching me every day. That's something money can't buy. I treat my wife like a queen every single day. I iron her clothes. I roll out the red carpet for her. Yes, I call her honey and baby and my love. And I thank her when she makes dinner. I thank her when she does things in front of my daughters. Why? Because I am teaching them what to look for in a man once they become grown. That's something money can't buy. I'm rich, y'all. I'm rich. When you have health, you are rich. Listen to me. It took me 6 months of dedication and eating right, but I was able to reverse a bad situation when I was diagnosed as being a diabetic. It took me 6 months of focus and dedication, but I reversed it. I'm rich. I have the opportunity today to build on my business, to build on my revenue streams. I'm rich. I have the opportunity today to strengthen the relationships that I have in my family and the friends who matter to me and the network that I get, the people that I get to network with on a daily basis. I'm rich. I don't know about you. I don't know about you, but I'm telling you, I'm smiling ear to ear because I'm rich. The money is going to come. Forever in my career, I chased the money. I chased the shiny thing. I chased it. But I'm gonna tell you something. When I got it, most people who make six figures or who are millionaires or who make eight figures will tell you once they got it, they were not satisfied. They were not fulfilled because money can't do that for you. Money is something that the government prints in bulk. There's more money on this planet than anything else because they print it every single day by the billions. It's in abundance. You can always replace money. Matter of fact, you've been replacing the money in your bank account your whole life. Every time you bought something and you spent the money out of your bank account, all you did was earn more money and then replace that money that you spent out of your account. You've been replacing money in your life this whole time. But you can't replace relationships. You can't replace the influence that you have over your children. You can't replace this opportunity that you have to be a great spouse to your partner. You can't replace being a valuable member of a great network. You can't replace that. You can't replace being a moderator in the number one morning show in club. You can't replace those things. To have influence, to be a positive impact, you're rich. Look in the mirror this morning and see all of that self-worth. See all of that value. Just look. Open your eyes and look. Stop looking to other people and what brings them value. Stop looking to other people at what they prioritize. Stop looking to other people and trying to spend their money in their bank accounts. Yes, if you need advice, wonderful. Go over there and get it. If you need advice on how to get to the next level, cool. Go on over there and get it. But as far as the self-worth and value that you have in you, look no further than that mirror. Look no further than those children who look at you with all of the unbelievable love in the world. Who pass no judgment. Who say, you are my mother, you are my father, I love you forever. Long after you are gone from this world, your children will still love you. You are rich. Some of you are way richer than you know. Way richer than you know. So I encourage you this morning to feel good, to feel proud about yourself, to do more, to do better, to see the value in you, to know that you are always influencing somebody else. So it is worth your while to do the right things and do things at the next level and live in your purpose. Aspire to be better. Aspire to live your dream and not talk about it. Why? Because somebody's watching. Somebody's watching. And that's what matters. Listen to me. You, all of you, you are all rich. It's time to start acting like it. I'm going to go ahead and turn over the room. It's now 8:59. Turn it into 9 o'clock. Clay Lundy, I'm not sure who's up next, but I'm going to go ahead and turn over the room now. Appreciate you guys listening to me this morning. This is Shaka Dice.
Oh my gosh.
Well done.
Well done.
Who's rich?
Amen.
Shaka's rich. You're rich.
We're all rich.
Guys, I feel like sharing something with the room today. I'm a musician. I'm Silvio speaking. I just released a song, and I think I resonated with what Shaka said. And I feel lucky and blessed to be here today. And if you guys want, I can play you this song that I just released that means a lot to me.
Go for it.
Love it.
Michael Cirillo.
Jay.
Wow.
Y'all figure.
Thank you.
So good.
Hey,
Man, I was back here
was
just like,
fantastic.
I was dancing and everything, man. That was good.
That's that's a point.
Man, that's a gift right there. That's a gift. That was phenomenal, man. That had me feeling some kind of way. I was over here grooving in my chair the whole nine, man. That was fantastic, man. I mean, you gotta
get out of my chair, Shaka.
You gotta let us know when we can go to wherever and download that, man.
Oh,
that's soul music right there.
Everywhere. It's on Spotify, Apple Music, everywhere. Just click on my bio or my Instagram bio as well.
Is that saxophone? That's saxophone, right?
Yeah, correct.
Man, I don't think I've ever heard saxophone like that. Whew, that was good.
Yeah, I'm trying to experiment a little bit, mixing styles and stuff. Yeah. Thank you.
Yo, that was
that was beautiful. That was awesome.
Thank you, Lisa.
I was over here freestyling.
Well, that was awesome, man. That was awesome, and we appreciate you dropping that on us, man. That was phenomenal. And I think so. Based on the schedule, I believe that Michael Cirillo is supposed to be on after me. However, I don't know whether he changed that schedule or not. However, if he's not, I am happy to continue talking because although I talked about being rich, I talked about the things in my life that make me rich and the life that I live that money can't buy and the relationships that I have that money could never buy. Jeff Bezos couldn't buy my life with his money because I have a wonderful wife, great children, relationships. So I would love to hear what makes you rich. Those on this panel, those that are listening, I would love to hear what makes you rich. And I know that Jaleesa is up next. So if a couple of people want to discuss what makes them rich, that's perfect. And then I know that Jaleesa is up next. Is that correct, Jaleesa?
Yeah, I'm stepping in for Michael today. He already warned me. He was like, "You're going after Shaka, so good luck." But I was like, "Oh damn, okay." Like after we went, I was like, "I don't even know how I'm gonna go." So you do your thing, Shaka. I'm here for it, and I love that topic. It's speaking. It's like music to my soul. So I love to hear it too.
Well, great. So, if a couple of people want to discuss what makes them rich in their life, what they have going on, or why they feel rich, if they want to drop a jewel real fast, we don't want it to be long and drawn out. But if you could give us a couple pointers about what makes you rich, that would be perfect. And Jaleesa, and we'll let Jaleesa take over from there.
Well,
yeah.
Shaka, I'm sorry, who's out?
Hey Shaka, this is Lauren down here in the yellow. I'm a guitar teacher.
Hey, champion.
And can you hear me? Sorry. Yeah, I'm Lauren. I'm a guitar teacher from Boston, and what makes me rich. And this, my online guitar teaching business came out of COVID, and it made me very rich in the fact that I get to help a lot of veterans now that have PTSD. And I get so many emails from older adults who want to learn guitar that were told their entire life that they couldn't do something or that they weren't skilled enough, that call and tell me and say, "Thank you so much for what you do. You made me believe in myself." So I am rich in the fact that I get to help people all over the world that I never thought I was going to be able to help. And that all came out of COVID. So, I know we were talking earlier about how COVID was such a bad thing, but for me, it was a wonderful and beautiful thing because it allowed me to reach out and touch people in a way that I never thought was possible. So my name is Lauren. I'm done speaking.
Thank you, Lauren, and thank you, Shaka. Alpha, you were about to say something? And Lauren, you're awesome. I'm so glad you're here. We get to share this space together. Lauren's one of my favorite humans. Alpha.
Thank you for having me here, Glenn. I appreciate it.
As I'm speaking, Jim Carrey made a great point a few years back. He said, "I wish everyone could get rich and famous just one time so they can find out that's not it." For all of us who've touched it, who've been a part of it, who walked the streets of LA, everything in that category, you will find every time that sitting in front of the ocean, being at peace, that's wealth. The wisdom that you pass to another and keep it for yourself, that's wealth. Being able to stand outside in the sunshine and breathe deeply in and out and be at peace no matter where you are, no matter what happens, that's wealth. But no amount of dollars printed from that machine that Shaka talked about will ever make you wealthy. Majority of this money in this world is digital, it's fiat, it's not backed by anything. But what are you backed with? What comes before your I am this or I am that? When you introduce yourself, you say, I do this and I did that. Well, that's what you did. But who are you right this second? That's wealth. When you can stand in your own presence and not be afraid, that's wealth. So you got to define wealth. It can't be outside you because someone can take that away. But what happens if someone takes everything away? Can you still be wealthy? This is Alp 6 and I'm done speaking.
Love it, love it, love it. Yes, that is what I'm talking about. That's wealth. It's all in the language that we use, right? The way that we define it. We are all wealthy in our own ways. I stepped away for just a second. Has the room been reset?
I was just about to reset. Did you want to go ahead? Or?
No, yes. Take it away, Jay Lissa.
Awesome. If you guys just came in, welcome to Breakfast with Champion by our amazing host, Glenn Lundy. And here's where you can grab a seat at the table to get inspiration, education, and motivation. We're here from Monday to Saturday from 5 a.m. to 11 Eastern Time. And if you're enjoying this, make sure if you want to show some support, just click the little plus sign at the bottom and ping some people in so you can share this wealth of knowledge to join the breakfast table. And you scroll all the way up, you'll see a cute little greenhouse, this little Lego house. You can follow the club so you don't miss any other awesome rooms that are hosted by this club. There's many other rooms like Lunch with Champions, and they're all super amazing. And so, and the last thing I want to mention is if you never want to leave you empty-handed leaving this table, right? So make sure you go to themorning5.com to grab your Morning 5 ebook so you can get your morning routine started. And I love what you're saying, Shaka, because that's exactly why I created Modern Luxury with so many people that's in here. Joy, Coach Isaac, Anthony, Alpha, where on Sunday we talk about the luxury is no longer in the tangible and the materials, but rather in the intangible things like experiences, time spent with our family, relationship building. Because after globalization, mass production, we kind of all realized, like, after having all of these things so accessible at all times, right, with like Uber and Amazon Prime, everything could come to your doorstep. We're all searching for meaning that is way deeper in our lives than just owning things. We want to represent what is this representing for us, and how does this show up in our lives, and how can we make this memorable? So I love what you're saying, and one of the biggest thing. But the biggest takeaway for me is like also your intention, right? Like, what are everyone's intention of being on here in a place like this in ClubHouse to provide value? What is everyone's intention? I want to open up with that question first. If you want to flash your mic throughout this segment, I definitely want to make this more conversational. And so if there's anything I'm talking about and you want to chime in, just flash your mic, and then we can kind of call on each other to see different perspectives. Because as much as I love to hear, as much as I love to teach, I also love to hear from other people, and that helps me learn as well. So if you want to share your intention on ClubHouse, flash your mics. And Jeff, Nate, Vernita, we'll go in that order. Jeff, you can go ahead. Jeff, here.
Yes, I know. What up, Jayla? So always good to hear your beautiful voice. This is Jeff the Entrepreneur. My intention on ClubHouse is literally just to inspire people that if I can do and get where I've got to right now at this chapter in my life, people can get there and learn from other people as well, and just really collaborate instead of compete, which I've always been a fan of. Collaborate with people like a Glenn Lundy or a Jay Lissa, who we, or even a Bill, who's like an encyclopedia, or definitely a Scott Simons, who I knew before here. A lot of people that I've met, the other Brian Benstock, someone like that, Shaka, right? Collaborate with people like these, get on stages, figure out, Trevor, how we can work together. And a lot of the exciting things I have coming up in such a time as this, and really just collaborate and then inspire people to get to where I am and help people where they need to be as well. So helping is always the key I think that's the key to fulfillment, is helping somebody else get to where they want. That's why I think you have people, legends up here, like a Brian, like a Glenn, who are up here starting their morning every day to help people get to the next level. So collaboration and inspiring is it. This is Jeff the Entrepreneur, and those are my thoughts.
Hey, Jay Lissa, this is C-Rock. I'm not trying to jump the line. I just want to let everyone know the courage. Like that gentleman right there, Jeff the Entrepreneur, he is the symbol of courage. Just want to throw that in there. Good morning, everyone.
Amen. Appreciate you, C-Rock.
I love the love spreading in here. That's amazing, because I brought that up because it's a lot of this, everything in this app, it's also a luxury experience. You get access to people that you wouldn't have anywhere else. And a lot of things that happen within this app is building relationships too, networking. So I love that. I love that answer. You're also collaborating. Nate, did you want to chime in on that?
Yeah, great question, Jalissa. And Jeff, you said that really well. And I'll add to that collaboration. Collaboration is how I'm fulfilling, or hopefully fulfilling, my intention here on ClubHouse. My intention has always been to help business owners that are stuck or struggling or looking to get started, to help them gain clarity on the next steps that they need to take in their specific business. Some people, their next step may be starting a business. Some people already may be doing 6 figures and just need clarity on how to scale it up to, to 7 figures. But really specific, helping people gain clarity by changing the things that need to be changed in their business, whether it's a mission statement, their values, understanding their target audience, how to generate leads. So just helping people gain clarity. And the number one way that I fulfill that intention is exactly what Jeff the Entrepreneur said, by forming strategic collaborations, connecting with people and masterminding and sharing ideas, and then opening up rooms with them and letting the audience share their questions, share their ideas. So not only collaborations with successful entrepreneurs and social media influencers, but collaborating with people in the audience, people that have a voice, and finding out what people want to learn the most. So thanks for having me, Jalissa and Glenn. It's always an honor to be here.
It's an honor to have you, Nate. That's perfect. Vernita, what were you going to say?
Yeah, no, thank you, Jalissa. So this is Vernita Adele. Happy to jump into this. I love what both Jeff and Nate said, and I love this question. I actually host a room every Thursday morning at 7:40 a.m. that includes setting your intention. I think for the amount of time that we all come together in this space on ClubHouse, the very first question to ask is, what is my intention and what is my purpose of being here? And as I asked it, I know for myself, when I first joined ClubHouse, I came with the intention of being of service. You can see in my bio, the line is there that says, I inspire others to find their voice and speak their truth. And I've done that in a number of ways around the app. But at the end of the day, in order to maximize my service, it's what everyone else has said. It's like, as I've gotten to the spaces, it was like getting really, really clear. Getting clear in my clarity of purpose, not on this app, but only off of it. Everything that we talked about today is team selection. I selected Breakfast with Champions as my team. And I selected it with care and with thought, and it wasn't with rash action. It was, getting a chance to sit down and really listening. So I think the second intention for me on this app is really listening and paying attention and being open to learning, continuing to be a student throughout this process only adds to that clarity. So clarity of purpose, being of service, listening, continuing to be a student, all so that as I grow my own personal dynasty, I am well positioned to maximize my ability to help others create their own dynasty. So this is my intention. This is Bernita, and I'm done speaking at the moment. Thank you for the space.
Awesome. Those are all very different intentions, different goals, and different purposes. And even if I didn't call on you, I want you to take a moment just to think about, what are your intentions? Why are you on this app? what do you want to use it for? And then the next question I want you to ask yourself is, are you presenting yourself with your intention that you said you wanted to, the way you wanted to show up? And also, does that even show up in your bio? How much does your intention actually show up in your bio? Everything that you guys all mentioned, with Nate, Jeff the Entrepreneur, Vernita, everything that you guys have said, is it on your bio? Are you representing your intention? The reason why I said this is because, so yesterday I ran a room for Modern Luxury Lounge, and we had the pleasure of interviewing Jason, which is the digital marketing director of MasterCard Luxury Card. And as he was speaking, I was looking through the audience to find people to pull up. And a lot of people's bio actually didn't even have what their intentions are on there. And in this app, especially because it's so amazing in terms of networking, it's so important for everybody to know, like, why are you here? Because it allows people to connect with you as well, right? And are you here to network? Are you here to make friends? Are you here to bring more leads? And everything that everyone has mentioned is it's all personal branding. Whether you guys know it or not, as soon as you're online, you already have a personal brand. And if you don't take control over it, Google will, other people's perception will. So it's either you want to take it in control from yourself, or do you want to leave it up to chance? Because 95% of our unconscious mind, right? It's controlled by our unconscious mind and our brain activity. So a lot of people don't really think about just like what you say or things that how you present yourself, but rather how you say it. So the things that like I see a lot is people are very unconscious about how they spend their time and their routine. Are you using it intentionally? Everything you do outside of ClubHouse, inside of ClubHouse, are you using your time intentionally? So like personal branding, that's something that I really want to talk about, just because I want to make sure that everyone is set up to win on here, especially what Glenn was talking about earlier. We're setting up people to win, especially while you're at the breakfast table. And so a lot of people think like branding is all about logo and aesthetics, but it's actually everything that you guys just talked about here. The values, the purpose, why you're here, the mission that you're trying to accomplish, the collaborations, the target audience, knowing who that is, your personality, your tone of voice. Those are all chosen by you, how you want to present yourself and how you want to show up. Like, what is the goal? How do you want to be perceived? Right? Those are all things that are related to your personal brand. So like that's what I want to get into is how are you guys using ClubHouse as your personal brand, and how intentional are you with it? If you want to share a little bit of that, if you want to chime in, go ahead and you can flash your mic. I'd love to hear.
Well, Jalissa, before the next person go, this is Vernita speaking. I just realized I was remiss in my last share. I didn't do my come on, Shaka. I didn't get a chance to pop in right after Shaka as I usually do. So I gotta acknowledge my brother for always bringing the fire each and every week. I am rich to be under the sound of your voice each and every week. And I'm excited for this conversation on personal branding. I'll hand it back to you, Jalissa. Thank you, Vernita, and I'm done speaking.
Did you say Grand Rising today yet?
I was about to say that too, Jalissa. She didn't say it.
No,
I was just going to say, I'm so used to that now. Like, what's going on? Who are you?
I did. I said it in the 7 o'clock hour. Grand Rising, everybody. Grand
Rising. Awesome. Lauren, do you want to chime in?
Hi, Jalissa. Girl, you're giving me, this is Laura Wild with the basketball, and you are giving me the masterclass that I needed this morning, because as you were talking about intention, it just gave me some self-awareness. And I noticed that as I've shifted my purpose for being on ClubHouse, that's because my intention has shifted, and I haven't done a real reset. So you're giving me the opportunity to reset, because I do want to be intentional about why I'm here. And the time I spend on ClubHouse is a lot, not as much as I'd like to, yet you're letting me understand where I can be going. You actually just helped me grow like 48%, girl. So I came on ClubHouse to learn. I want to start an online digital course. I'm doing a big, huge shift in my business. And then it's now become a place where I meet new friends and I am elevating my consciousness. So I'm going to be very intentional about that. And I'm actually going to change my bio And every time someone resets the room, I'm going to do a personal internal quick reset, so that if I'm spending time on Clubhouse, I'm constantly, getting fed and allowing my soul to be really connected to my true intention, so that I'm reinforcing the subconscious beliefs. So Jalissa, thank you so much for the masterclass today. I'm Laura Wild, and I'm done.
Absolutely. It's always wonderful to see you and your basketball husband.
The basketball's there until the husband shows up, y'all.
I love it. Shoot your shot. Here's your chance. Just kidding. So yeah, no, personal brand is super important. A lot of people are very unconscious how they spend their time. Even like what I was saying before, outside of Clubhouse, inside of Clubhouse, people are always doing things because out of habit, right? But then what's really crazy about this app is your followers can see exactly what you're doing. And that's how the culture of Clubhouse, which is something I want to get into later, to help people kind of build their personal brand and also their personal presence online. But how you show up, the way that Clubhouse works is your followers actually see the room that you're in. And so your intention, so with your intention, are you here in Breakfast with Champion right now at this table to inspire, to network? Other people see that. And then if you jump into like a singles to mingles room, people also see that. Like, so they make an unconscious association, whether are you here for business or are you here for personal reasons. That's something that I always mention to my people that works with me, because I'm like, okay, maybe you should have a second account for jumping into these things, because other people will make a conscious association. 95%, again, is how we perceive other people. It's not really by what they say. And so I love what you're saying, Laura, is being intentional. Every room you go into, are you here to provide value? Are you here to inspire others? Are you here to educate? Everything does matter. Bill, I saw you flash your mic. Did you want to chime in? Shanti, did you want to chime in?
Yes, I want to say good morning. It's always a pleasure to be in the room with champions and millionaires and to be at the table in the rooms. I want to thank Glenn and all the moderators. You guys are awesome. One of the things, my intention here is to, like she said, learn, to give, to grow, and most of all, to love. I'm a true servant at heart, and I've been rich and I've been poor, but none of that matters. Like he said earlier, I think it was Alpha 6, money doesn't matter. What am I doing? Am I mastering the fruits of the Spirit? And most of all, am I mastering myself to help others? And so I just want to spread the good news and tell everybody that, they are, and they have purpose. They are purpose, and with reason, they can do anything in life that they choose. And just the good news, just to be a servant of the good news.
Amen.
Amazing. Another point I wanted to add into what Laura was saying, how your brand is how other people see you when you're not around. And that is so true, especially in Clubhouse. And also with your personal brand, I want to hear a little bit more of why do you want a personal brand on Clubhouse? Because a lot of people don't realize your personal brand is something that actually generates lead into your business brand. Your business brand is what closed the sale, right? So with that, what are other people's intention on here? Why do you want to have a personal brand on Clubhouse? Michael?
Hey, Jalissa, how are you? It's so good to have you running these rooms. It's amazing how just the people that have been hand selected to do this room. And I was just sitting here taking notes, listening to you, and just all the friends that we've been able to make. And I think for me, I wrote this down as you were saying this because I always like to be intentional when I speak. I got up at 5 and was praying and spending some time in devotions and worship and I was talking with Brian Hess. We were texting, and I think for me, John Maxwell taught me intentionality even at a very young age when he was pastoring a church that I was going to when he was in his 20s, and then later on in a mastermind that I was asked to be a part of, has allowed me to be intentional with my brand because I feel it's part of my destiny and my calling. It's just like you heard Laura say, how much time do we spend, and you heard Shanta say, fulfilling that calling, right? For seeing the good news, right? And for me,
Our brand is what, as you said, Jalissa, is what people say about us when we're not around. What people say about us when we actually maybe get to meet them in person, and not necessarily what we say when we're with them, but how we make them feel when we leave or when we're not with them. And for me, my brand wants to make God happy, wants to make people happy, wants to make me seen as the person that God created me to be. That my identity is not in the things of the world or that my failures or anything like that. It's like what Shaka said. I'm rich because God gave me breath in my lungs today. I'm rich because I have a wife who loves me and encourages me unconditionally. And I think it's just like with you, with your brand, Jalissa, you allow people to feel better about themselves. And I think that that's the most important thing when we get up tomorrow, when we get up the next day, is that we fulfill that calling upon our life where God has us. And so I'm grateful for all of you. And Jalissa, thanks for this topic. This is Michael, and I'm done speaking.
Thank you, Michael. Yeah, with the brand too, it's like it has to be like cohesive all around, right? And I'm sure like with your Instagram, with LinkedIn, wherever you go, it's also cohesive. For me, my personal brand, my values is simplicity, elegance, and timelessness. So everything I teach all comes from psychology, which gives the timelessness of a lot of the strategies that I give. And for also like simplicity, it's super important, even because for me, I have a background in research from UC Berkeley, but every time I explain something, I make sure I boil down to where a 5-year-old can understand. Regardless of how smart you are, if you can't explain it to a 5-year-old, you really don't know your crap. I'm going to say something else, and that's something that's really important, right? Because how you show up, it's like you're saying, it's not what you say, it's how you make that person feel. Because people aren't really going to remember every word that Shaka just said, no matter how amazing it is. But what they're going to remember is the emotion that he gave, how he made you feel, how empowered you felt when listening to Shaka. And those are things that people actually associate you with it. And I'd love to hear from Shaka. What is your intention on ClubHouse? Because I feel like you have such a strong personal brand and you come off so cohesive and it's just very elegant. So I would love to hear from you.
You know, I appreciate you volleying the ball over to me. I really do. You know, my intention, my overall, right, when it's all said and done for me, I'd like to be talked about in a conversation of somebody who motivated or inspired people to do better, right? To be named in the same breath as a Eric Thomas or a Tony Robbins or even a great Zig Ziglar. Not that I'm on their level, but it's just something that I aspire to do. So that's why I use my opportunity on Breakfast with Champions to do just that, to push my brand of motivational speaking and inspiring and influencing others to do better, to reach for more and to show them that they are more. So that's my intention, is to build that audience and to be somebody that others can look to be inspired, to be motivated. Somebody who has a very ugly past, but man, I got to tell you, the future and the present is so bright and beautiful, and it's obtainable for everyone. No matter what circumstance or situation you come from, a beautiful present and a beautiful, wonderful future is obtainable for you too. And so that's my intention here on ClubHouse, and that's what it's going to be moving forward, is to build that audience, to build that influence, to be somebody of some influence. So when it's all said and done for me, the words that I speak, will live on for the next, 200-300 years, hopefully.
Yes, and that's the legacy that we're talking about. Right, the other day, Glenn, it's like, when you die, what is the legacy that you're leaving? With the last 5 posts that you posted on Instagram, same thing on here. The last 5 things that you've given value to and what was it? That's something that people are going to remember you for. And I don't know if Scott's in here, but as Scott would say, but let me tell you, Shaka, you are way beyond everyone that you've named. Like, can we just give it a flash, like a mic flash, if you agree? Like, Shaka is doing way beyond just, Tony Robbins, everybody that you just mentioned, above and beyond. Are you kidding me? I love that.
You guys are so kind. Thank you so much. That's why I love you guys at this table. I love you so much.
Oh, we love you. We love your energy. It's such an honor to listen to you speak. I feel like the things that you talk about, man, I can't even imagine how much I would have to pay to come see you. But just the fact that you're being on here and sharing your values so freely, and this is why I want you guys to take advantage of this app. It opens up so many doors for everybody. My goal was when I started this modern luxury club, it's really just to shift the next generation of millennials and Gen Z, how they perceive luxury, rather than coming into taking on luxury as a just a material goods. And because when we talk about luxury, everyone just think about Gucci belt, a Lambo, Chanel bag, right? But what really is luxury is actually what is in the intangible. Like, how do we spend time with each other? These things are really what's important, what's memorable, your relationship, your family. At the end of the day, before you pass away, that's what you're going to remember. And for me, I say that with certainty because two things. One, when my grandfather passed away, which he had just unlimited amount of funds. But when he passed away, what he didn't say was, I am so grateful. I have all these buildings, all these properties, all these cars. At the end of the day, what he said was, I wish I had the last conversation with your father before he passed. And so for me, that really hit me because from someone that has unlimited amount of resources, he could have anything in the world, purchase anything in the world. He still said, at the end of the day, it's relationship that counts. And for me, when I worked in New York, I had so many things, and I gave up. I sacrificed my family, my time with my family, my friends, and at the end of the day, yeah, I had all the materials good that everyone's want. Growing up, that's what I want. I want to buy a nice car. I want to buy that Gucci belt and everything. But when you have it all, as Alpha was saying, I wish everyone can become rich, just to know that's not the answer to things. Because what I missed are time that I cannot go back on, knowing, being there when my mother was sick, being there when my grandfather passed away. All these things is going back in time. You cannot grab it. So that's why I want you guys to be really intentional of what you're doing on ClubHouse, because it can open so many doors, or it can close the doors for you. So with that, I want to also bring up the fact that I want to build leaders here, right? Not just followers. I want people to feel empowered to build their own brand on ClubHouse, but most importantly, you can do so not just by participating on other people's stages, but by also opening up your room and having your own stage and having your own voice, because we all have something so valuable to contribute. So that's something I also want to get into, because we have the leverage of having people in here that has opened many incredible rooms that are so valuable, that has so many amazing tips to give. So I want to leverage this time to help you guys build your own space. And I don't want to hear it, because I had like a few hundred followers. My first room, I don't even know how, but I built like a 2,000 people room in my first room that I built, just leveraging the connection that I built, and that was like my first week on ClubHouse. So, a lot of things when I heard what people say is that they're afraid to open rooms because they don't have enough followers. But think about it this way: if you have 20 people in your room, say 20 people, which is not a lot, like considering for a ClubHouse thing, but if you have 20 people in your room, like your actual bedroom, how are you going to handle that? That's a lot of people in one room. So that's 20 connections that you're making. So being grateful for what you have, rather than trying to seek more and trying to compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20, is also very important. So I want to just hear from everybody that has had opened their own room. What are your biggest key point that you think has made a very successful room?
Hey, Adrian. Oh, sorry. Hey, Jay, listen, this is Alpha. I want to answer your previous question first, and then I'll answer that, okay? Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
All right, I'll go for it. Each morning, the same intention is set, and there's a few of them. Number 1, to be unconditional love. Number 2 is to be absolute presence. Number 3 is to share the wisdom that the moment needs. Number 4 is to be the I before I am this or that. To be the peace of God in man. To drink deeply of the ocean of life. To love without apology. And to be human and be more than enough as is. And last but not least, to embrace reality and deal with it. We can get so caught up in thinking about the way we wish the world was and how it should be that we don't take time to see how it is. Nature will always laugh last. If you don't work with nature, you lose. And in the end, we know where we go. The king and the pawn goes into the same box. So how you play the game is still entirely up to you. So intentions matter. Oprah says intention is her religion. She lives by it before she does a show. And that brings us to the next point. Before you open the doors, before you invite someone to the stage, before you open the club, before you hit the plus button and bring someone into a room, make sure your energy is right. Be careful of the energy you bring into the room. Be careful of the energy you allow into the room. And once everyone's in the room and they're using the time of their life to be in your presence, make sure it's worth it, because they will not get their time back. Don't meander on the stage. Don't talk for no reason. Make sure you are moving the needle forward in somebody's life. Make sure they're inspired to action when they leave that place. Make sure that their family around them that's wondering why they're always on Clubhouse can see the difference in their life because they were. And that the people they met there, they don't mistake for pretend friends, social media friends. Because I promise you, the connections you make here might be the ones that change your real life. That decade you've been waiting in silence will happen in 1 week in this place if your intentions are correct. Make sure your heart is correct. Make sure your listening is correct. Your ears can hear, true, indeed, but are you truly listening? Because people will tell you everything you need to hear if you listen long enough. So when you open a room, if you want it to be quality, no matter if there's one person there besides you, set your intentions before you go. Alpha 6, done speaking.
Hey, Alpha. Jaleesa, you mind if I ask Alpha a question real fast?
Please, go for it.
Alpha, that guy, he's so smart, man. He's so awesome. Hey, Alpha, I was listening to every word you just said, and I don't know if people caught something you said, but did you say the king and the pawn all go to the same box? Is that what you said?
Yes, sir. At the end of the game, king and the pawn go in the same box.
I love it. Man, I love it. See, this is what I'm talking about right here. These are the jewels that you can pick up from people, even at the most random times, man. If you just listen with intention, have a game plan, right? Focus on who you are and what value you want to bring to whatever room that you open up, and then have a game plan and then execute. That's how you have a successful room. That's how Glenn built this room. He had a vision. He had a game plan. He had a vision and idea to build the world's largest breakfast table. And then he came up with the game plan. And then every single day for hours and hours and hours, he executes. And then he builds a team to help him execute. And this is how not only do we have the opportunity to influence others, but throughout hours and hours and hours in the day, Glenn also is building his brand because he allows us to help influence others, man. So that's how you execute and build a massive and successful room. If you bring enough value every time you're in a room, people are going to follow you because they're going to be influenced by you. So even if you start with the 20 that Jalissa said, even if you start with that, if you bring value, if you bring things that speak to people's heart, if you encourage people, if you show people that there's opportunities, if you show people that if the door is closed, you take your foot and you break it in and you kick it in. If you show them that things are possible, that they are dreaming about, that things are possible, that the ideas that they have don't have to remain ideas, but those ideas can become reality. If you show them that it is possible and you keep inspiring them, listen to me, they will follow you because you are bringing the value in every room that you decide to open up. Guess what? That's how it grows and grows and grows and grows and grows. That's how you do it. Hey, Alpha 6. You're the man. Hats off to you, champion.
I appreciate you, Shaka. More power to you. I appreciate you as well.
Isn't he just like a mini Les Brown? That's what I've been calling him. He's so inspirational. And everything you guys are mentioning literally ties back into what I was saying also with personal branding. Like, what is your philosophy? Like Shaka was saying, with Glenn's values, what is his purpose, right? His purpose is to build the biggest breakfast table. And he does that by showing up every single day. He's committed to showing up every single day to provide you with the purpose of educating you, with inspiring you, motivating you, with having a huge amount of diverse people on this panel to do just that. So when you open up a room, have the same thing. Everything that Glenn is doing, Shaka's doing, anybody that hosts successful room, you can do it yourself. You don't have to watch on the sideline. So that's something that I really want you guys to understand. And the other thing, like Jeff the entrepreneur, what he mentioned that I think is super important for people, for us to be aware of, is collaboration. When you're collaborating, who is it that you want to collaborate, and what is the goal? What are the values? And that's something that is so important that we never even talked about in school, because it's like an unconscious contract that we have with people. What are your own values? What are other people's values? And if it doesn't align, it will be for sure that you guys won't get along. And it's not because of your personality. It's not because of anything personal. It's just because the values aren't aligned. So when you open up a room, something that is so important too is, what are your values? And as if you guys don't know, we have like a millionaire room. It's a millionaire of three-figure entrepreneurs that we're really proud of, making hundreds of dollars a year. But our value is all the same. Our value is about having fun, about educating people, providing the best to everybody, and uplifting people's energy in ClubHouse, outside of ClubHouse. And I love to hear from Joy. Like, what are your values? You know, I always miss your voice when I don't hear from you for a while, and you always come with positive energy. So I would love to hear some wisdom from you.
Well, I hope there's wisdom flowing, because I'm like literally sitting here looking at the ocean. So I feel so calm, cool, and collected. So for me, my intention when I showed up to ClubHouse was to show up with open hands. And I think I live my life that way, where if you keep your hands open, if everybody just puts their hands out in front of them, you realize that you can both receive and you can throw back. And so I think every time I open a room or I'm involved in a room, it's like, you know what, I always get, but at the same time, I always hope that I have something to give back. You know, whether that's a friendship or a relationship, you know, those people in your life, they're just takers. They're there just to catch and receive, and they never throw anything back. And so that's how we make deposits in each other's lives, that when you make more deposits than withdrawals, then everybody wins. And those that take, you just have to give them or serve them like an insufficient fund notice that I've got nothing left to give you. And I can guarantee you that there's so many people in this room, so many people on this stage that are constantly pouring in. And I hope that I'm always one to return the favor, just because that's who you are. And I think when your values are aligned with who you are on and offline, I remember meeting somebody that I met on, I think maybe Instagram, for the first time in person, and her comment to me was, "You're the same person you are online." And I was like, well, what else were you expecting? But we meet people on ClubHouse, we meet people on Instagram, we meet people, you know, passing by, and when you are just congruent, that your life is the same, whether you're speaking or showing up, the way you treat people, the words you speak, that is your brand. You are your brand. You're a walking advertisement for everything that you value and that you value in others. So I'm just so blessed by this group, you know. So I just encourage everybody to live with their hands and their palms wide open, because if you look at giving and receiving as equal exchanges, then everybody around you benefits. And I'm just so full of gratitude. And Jalissa, you're killing it. I love being in your rooms and just the way that you edify everyone around you and make everyone feel so special. So thank you.
We are all celebrities, right? What Tim Story says, I'm going to jump in real quick before whoever was speaking, but what Tim Story said, I feel like everyone needs to hear, is that we are all celebrities. So the word celebrity just means to be celebrated. So celebrate yourself, because if you're not going to do it, I'll do it for you until you do it to yourself, because you don't have to wait until a special occasion. That's something Joy and I always talk about. Talking about luxury, people always think that you have to wait until there's like a special occasion for you to celebrate certain things. Make sure you celebrate that every single day. And like what you're saying with your energy, something I picked up is your energy is your currency. So if you think about it like your energy is as money, how are you going to spend it? Are you just going to give away freely because you're on sale? Or are you going to give away only to people who deserves it? So because anything you give out is what you're also going to attract. Who in
This is me.
earlier?
Yeah. Hey, Jalissa, this is Dr. Connor. Yeah, just from listening to the previous speakers, I totally agree with just exactly what you just said there. The energy is your currency, because everybody that spoke there added to the conversation, and they also complemented everything I was saying, and the kind of central core of what you were saying is around intention. And it reminded me of kind of something like let your intention be your extension. And I think with your branding and with yourself, that your voice can't lie. You know, you mentioned tonality earlier on. And Shaka mentioned that he has this huge dream, and we know that he has this huge ability, and he has shown it. We have heard it, that in a couple of 100 years' time, he wants to be able to reverberate and show that goodness in what he's doing and how he's affecting people in a very positive light. And we know that, and all the other speakers. And even when I came on the app, Jeff came and reached out to me, and I can tell you, he's just as genuine as he actually sounds. And then Laura spoke as well, and she speaks about energy, and you just mimicked it there as well. And the thing about it is, everybody here has just shown that, and Glenn does it even the best of all, is that he introduces a topic and then he listens. And if we look at other social media, for example, when we talk about branding, we can post something on Facebook, we can post something on whatever else, and then we can walk away. We can come back 12, 15 hours later and we can see how it performed. But if you want to introduce yourself here with your brand, you have to be truthful. You have to have something to give. You have to extend the conversation. So if you're talking about intention, you have to add to it, rather than, I've been in rooms where it's people that jump on stage and say, well, I was doing this and I was doing that, and in my book there's this and that and the other, and in my course there's this, that and the other. And it's like, oh my gosh, I don't want to hear that. So I come to this room because there's quality. There's people that are extending the conversation and the intentionality. So extend the intention. And I think all those previous speakers I've heard have done that with fantastic success, but also with great worth. And that's why it's well worth listening to. Just what I'm thinking this morning.
Thank you. Way to sum it up. That was amazing.
That was amazing. I agree. Super kind. Thank you for the kind words.
Yeah, I didn't even know you were there. Before we move on, I just want to reset the room real quick. Welcome to Breakfast with Champions. Here's where you can grab a seat at the table to get your inspiration, education, and motivation. We're here every single day. Well, Monday to Saturday from 5 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern. Then we have Sunday 1:11 service, which is amazing and so soulful. And if you're enjoying this, make sure you invite your friends, your family, your colleagues, whoever that can benefit this. So just click the little plus button. You can add people in, and on the little top, there's like a little Lego house. You can follow the club so you don't miss any other amazing rooms that are hosted under this club. And lastly, we want you to leave with a full plate. So go ahead and go to the Morning 5 to grab the Morning 5 free ebook so you can become a morning master like all of us that Glenn has produced, part of his vision. So I love this conversation, where we're going with this, and I love all the values that you guys are giving. And this is why I wake up literally every day with Alpha and Brielle and everyone on the West Coast at 2 a.m. It's just everyone provides so much heart and heartfelt value that we all hear. And something I also take away, and this is personal branding that people don't even realize, is your etiquette. How are you showing up is also a personal brand. Are you listening, right? I have really bad ADHD. If you guys don't notice, I was like, I always joke around like how I graduated and got into a PhD program was like probably by an accident, but you might hear me like jumping around. But what I've really learned from this app is how to listen until someone is finished speaking. And then you go ahead and speak, right? But that's also a personal brand because it shows your value of respect. Something that I love when I talk to Alpha is that every time I talk, he always mutes his mic, even if I cut him off, which I'm so sorry, Alpha. But that's something that also shows up. How polite are you? There's an etiquette, that's manner. Those are things that are values that I show up because it's something that's very valuable within my family. Back in the days when etiquette was like even a thing, I went to etiquette school because it is something that is unconscious. It's not just about how you show up as, a certain way, but it's also how you understand other people's culture and then how to respect it. And there is a culture in ClubHouse that a lot of people don't talk about. Like when you come up on stage, you mute your mic, you flash your mic before you speak, and you go in order, and you wait until someone is done before you jump in. So, like, what are some cultures that are unspoken on ClubHouse that you guys have noticed, and that could help people build their rooms too? Because that's something that really made me nervous. Was not really understanding how the culture works. So, if you want to flash your mic and if you have any input, I'd love to hear from you guys.
Hey, Jalissa, it's Nate. I'll jump in real quick. One thing that I've noticed, and some people are really good at this, and then I noticed I had to teach myself how to do this, and that's paying attention, especially when we're running rooms, when we're on stage, paying attention to who might not have had a chance to jump in and add to the conversation, because the way the platform is set up, some people are really good at just jumping in and just right at the right time, adding to the conversation. And then there's some people that they have a lot of value to give, and we know they do, and we see their mic flash or something, but then somebody else jumps in, and then 5, 10, 15 minutes goes by, and that person never got to jump in the conversation. And I know that, man, I tell you what, Glenn Lundy might be one of the best at this. He notices when people flash their mic, and he'll be like, hey, Jalissa, did you want to add to that? I noticed your mic flash. I've always noticed that about Glenn. He watches the room, and he notices when people want to add to the conversation. And I've taught myself how to do that. And sometimes I'm not so good at it. And sometimes I catch people trying to jump into the conversation. And it's just one of those little things, because the way the app is set up, everybody can't just jump in at the same time. And so paying attention to people's voice that might not have been heard for a while and letting them add to the conversation is just one little bonus way that we can treat each room and make sure all the voices are heard.
Nate, that's so good. Sorry, go ahead, Jalissa.
I saw you. I was just going to jump over to you, but that's something that's really important. I think that's a huge respect that I have for Glenn, and